Okay, let's go. First of all, we have this final chapter. Is this final chapter at last, or Alice's final chapter?
Is it really the final chapter? How could you do this to me?
I'm sorry.
I
it's
thought
the
you
final-
loved me. I thought you loved working with me. It's not fair. I'm gonna miss it.
Okay then, so it's the final chapter. But what can we found in this final chapter? Because every movie we saw, I saw all the movies like 10,000 times, so I know by heart most of the scenes. And every movie there is a twist. We see something, sometimes they are allies, and then they are enemies, they turn into allies again. What can we find this one?
This is the biggest twist of them all. This is the big secret that I've been kind of holding for 15 years now. You know, the truth about the Alice character, who she really is. Because at the start of the franchise, she woke up with memory loss, and she never got that memory back. So she really is a character without a history, without a past. And this movie, she goes back to the beginning, back to the hive to discover the truth about herself. And I think what it's going to do is going to make you want to rewatch all of the movies with the kind of new knowledge in your mind.
But in the end, the last movie, in the end of the Retribution, we had a final with 3 powerful women, female characters. The men were a little bit aside, and I want to know about it because they were all fighting so much. And I want to know from you, Milla, from Milla. It's Milla or Milla?
Milla.
Milla, okay. From you, Milla, for you, how can you see Alice as a character as a female character, not only on action movies, but movies itself, how it's evolved, and how important she is for this?
Well, I think characters like Alice have been really relatable for many people around the world in the last 15 years. I think there was obviously a place for her that was not filled. You know, people have embraced Alice, men, women, in a way that I could never have imagined when we made the first movie. And it's amazing for me to see how much she's inspired people and what a great love people have for Alice. She answers something in people's hearts, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah. And about the movie itself, I have the opportunity to watch 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. And I saw something that reminds me an Albert Einstein quote that says, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." We talk so much about science, and there is something different in this one. How can you capture this idea and how it works for this story?
Is that what Dr. Isaac says?
Well, I think this movie has, I think it has an emotional content that you wouldn't necessarily associate with a Resident Evil film. And I think that's all because of we're discovering the truth about the Alice character. You know, I think because this is the end of her journey, the end of her voyage, and it's the character that people have been following for 15 years, you know, you can't come to the end without having an emotional content that I think this movie does. And for me, at the end of the film, I tear up. I mean, and I'm a British guy, and we're taught to have like stiff upper lip. You don't show your emotions. And even though I made the movie, I get very emotional at the end of the film. So I think that's something new for the franchise.
Yeah, I think also, this kind of world is such a reflection as well on how, in a lot of ways, we see the companies in control. We see our governments as not caring so much, and you see people, now trying to eat better, trying to teach their children to care more for each other, to be more respectful. And in a way, the old-fashioned mentality would all lead to this if we don't all stand up as citizens and go, we want a better world. We want to care about animals. We want to care about each other. We don't want so many
I think
wars,
it's always been one of the themes of Resident Evil is that you can't trust the big corporations, and you can't necessarily trust big government either. And that's something that I think has really resonated with people.
It's a sort of how the establishment sometimes changes or something like that?
I think how the establishment looks at profits as opposed to individuals.
I think it's good. And for the final question, because I have 1 minute, What can I expect from both of you? Another partnership for the future?
Well, listen, this is the best actress to work with, hands down. Any director who gets to work with Milla is a very lucky man or woman.
Yeah.
So, of course, I would love to do more movies with her. I'd be lucky to. If you'll let me.
Listen, send me a script. I'll have my agent call you.